I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything.
Yo, what's up, betters? How we doing today? Beautiful Sunday. Not where I'm at. It is storming, so I hope it's a beautiful Sunday where you're at. Thunder, storms, rain. Let's hope my internet does okay. And to be fair, I did not feel like doing a video today, y'all. I am just not feeling it, but I decided I'm going to jump on live. We're going to do this. Got my coffee. There's probably some times where you don't feel like coming and you show up. So I can't miss a day. I'm here. So you saw the thumbnail. This kind of happened earlier in the week. I didn't make a video about it, but I wanted to make sure to cover this because I thought it was, quite fascinating, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of nuance and context to the title and thumbnail of this video, right? About Sean Kirkpatrick confirming UAP crash retrieval program. It's true, but there's some context there. It may not be the truth you or I think it is. And it's interesting. So we're going to dive into that story. And I have one other story with Kevin Knuth. I hope I'm saying that right, or Kevin Knuth, or I think it's Knuth. I don't know. Anyway, talking about abductions. We'll get to that later on, which is kind of interesting. I just saw it. But first, let's give a shout out to our mods working in the chat right now. Thank you to all the mods: Chris, Daniel, Jessica, Allie, Justin, Heiser, Brookers. Who else am I missing? I think I got everybody. If I miss somebody, my apologies. And thank you to all the YouTube members for joining. All right, let's jump into the story, y'all. What do we say? All right, let's bring it up. Again, Sean Kirkpatrick doing an interview on a podcast called Event Horizon with a gentleman named John Michael Gaudier. I think I'm hopefully saying that correctly. And then the Daily Mail made an article about it right here. So look at this. Exclusive. Pentagon UFO chief reveals U.S. military's new alien tech crash retrieval program. What's the Home Alone face? Right? Like, wait, what? Is this the same guy that said there's nothing to this phenomena? We have no evidence of alien visitation on Earth, and all the programs and everything it's not real. Look at the ads on this Daily Mail thing. Jesus, they're going crazy here, y'all. You see this? Holy, calm down, Daily Mail. Jesus. See, ads like this, they don't work. It's just too much. I'm not buying Altoids or Lifesavers because of this stuff. I mean, it's nonsense. Anyway, let's forget about that. Let's get to this article. See, it makes it even hard to read the article, Daily Mail. Okay, fix your stuff. The Pentagon's former chief UFO investigator has revealed a sensitive new government program to recover, wait for it, alleged alien tech in the event of a shoot down. So in the event that we shoot down a UFO, there is a program, a new sensitive program to recover this tech. So we'll get into the details. I even have some audio of Sean Kirkpatrick on that podcast talking more in depth. We'll get to that in a second, but let's break this down. So he's saying it's a new sensitive program, right? New. That's the key. Let's keep reading. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, a longtime CIA scientist who headed the U.S. military's UFO chasing all-domain anomaly resolution office, AARO, and he is no longer the head of AARO, right? Admitted to the program's existence when pressed during a new interview. that's all it took, pressing him, and then he just admits to this new program. That's also interesting, right? Don't you think? CIA scientist. Well, that means we can trust him. Just kidding. The retrieval program's protocols were for any UAP recovery involving everything from balloons to drones to alleged alien tech, as Dr. Kirkpatrick told podcast host John Michael Gaudier. In recent years, Pentagon brass, NASA experts, and academics have all reframed what were once called flying saucers as unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. The revelation is the first time that the U.S. government has officially acknowledged a UAP or UFO retrieval program, despite decades of speculation and whistleblower testimony that America has already been in possession of alien craft for decades. Well, what's funny is this article says that the U.S. government has officially acknowledged. Is that really true? It's just Sean Kirkpatrick saying it, and he works for a private company. I'm sure he does contracts still with the government, but is he considered the government? If he says something, then the government is saying something. Does that make sense? So that's interesting. If the wording of that is peculiar, but still very good. God, it's jumping my page all over the place. Y'all are seeing this, right? I'm not doing anything. Holy cow. Daily Mail. It also comes amid multiple federal investigations into mothership UFOs over key U.S. military sites, releasing hard to identify, much less catch, drone swarm UFOs. This week, the Pentagon's North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, admitted that America's military installations have been plagued since 2022 by at least 600 so-called drone incursions, many still unexplained. And those are the ones we focus on this channel. The UFO community focuses on, right? We'll get back to these pictures here in a second. Good God, I swear the ads on that are absolutely killing me. This is crazy. Like, these ads are insane. Classified documents suggest that the new UFO crash retrieval program began in early 2023 with a focus on response and recovery and material transfer. Dr. Kirkpatrick initiated high-level meetings formalizing Arrow's version of a UFO crash retrieval program in January and February 2023. So pay attention to those details, right? What is that? About a year, almost 2 years, coming up on 2 years, right? So 2023, January and February, he starts getting together this program. How crazy is that? Right? They're putting together this program behind the scenes while he's investigating past cases of UFOs, right? That is very interesting. As one scheduling email explained, the purpose of the meeting is to discuss the disposition of funding within the context of safety and security implications of UAP. Establishing a receiving point for any and all recovered UFO materials was one key issue to be addressed, the meeting memo added. The problem is those types of activities are already covered under foreign material collection and analysis, as Dr. Kirkpatrick told Gaudier and listeners to his Event Horizon podcast Thursday. You see, I've talked about that too on this channel, that America already has crash retrieval teams, right? And we gather foreign materials from foreign governments, whether it be our own tech that has crashed on foreign soil that we want to go get back so other people don't get it, or their tech has crashed and we go and get it, right? And we've already been doing that. Right. There's already been programs like that, and that would include UAP. But there was always this theory, and still is, right, that there's other programs specifically designed for UAP, UFOs only. Right. And what he's saying here is in January and February of 2023, Arrow themselves started to put together a UAP crash recovery team, right, amongst other things. Right. But in the event of a shoot down, right, which is interesting. So He's basically trying to say there's already a program, but we wanted to create another one. There's already a process and procedure in place for many of these things, he continued. So this conversation was really to start asking, how do we document that for UAP? And what kind of procedures do we need to put in place? Since at least the dawn of the Cold War, America has had crash retrieval programs led by the CIA. But not compromising, well, that's a Freudian slip there, but comprising all branches of the U.S. military. These programs were set up mainly to acquire Russian and Chinese tech, including the CIA's top secret salvaging of a nuclear-equipped sunken Soviet sub in 1974. Equally important was retrieving U.S. fragments that had landed in foreign nations to prevent the Soviets from recovering and exploiting them. According to curator James E. David of the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum. Now, let's go back up to that picture. That's it right there. This model of a sunken and deteriorated Soviet K-129 submarine was created by the CIA during its 1971 to 74 Zorion mission, one of the most elaborate terrestrial crash retrieval missions undertaken in secret by the U.S. intelligence community and now declassified. They went and got a whole damn submarine, right? Back in the 70s. I find that fascinating. Right? That is absolutely fascinating. All right, let's keep going. I wish I could change this to just be like read mode or something. Is there a way to do that? I don't know how to do that. I'm not tech savvy, y'all. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Sorry. It's just, this is the damn ads. Let's all write a letter to Daily Mail here. So it looks like these are, okay. So these are the documents here proving that this was done, right? So meeting purpose, UAP response and recovery, and material transfer, right? So there's some proof here. I'll put a link to this article afterwards so you can go check it out. There you go. Okay, so Dr. Kirkpatrick's later disclosure adds context to an intriguing release of 78 pages worth of redacted plans between Aero and U.S. Space Command, where the physicist had previously served as Deputy Director of Intelligence from 2019 to 2021. Space Command was only the just one. That doesn't make sense. Space Command was only the just one of the branches Aero consulted. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Leadership from the White House's Joint Chiefs of Staff also weighed in on the UFO recovery effort, including its directorates for intelligence, J2, operations, J3, strategy and policy, J5. Aero is congressionally directed to come up with not just standard reporting procedures, but also mitigation and response procedures in the event of a shoot down or a collection of any sort of UAP. Isn't that interesting? Right? Now, when he says UAP, literally the U stands for unidentified. So that's what we have to keep in mind. So from his standpoint, and potentially many others in the government, that doesn't mean alien, even though he does say alien tech. Just anything they don't know what it is, if they have to shoot it down and go get it. So I don't know if they're trying to wash out the term UAP and move it away from something that's non-human, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Like they're trying to make more UAP about drones and balloons and things, rather than non-human. So they may be trying to like wash it out, and that's the kind of sense I get, which is interesting. To do that mitigation and response as well as standardized reporting, he added, will occur through all of the combatant commands because they already have people in place that would collect crashes. So, see, that's what I've always said. Like, is it that the UFO community and people in the government and other people, have they been confused that these crash retrieval programs, they do exist, but not in the way they're saying, right? Because I've always asked, Are these programs just for UFOs? Because what are these employees of these programs doing when they're not catching UFOs? It's not like it happens on the daily. Are they like firefighters just sitting around waiting to jump down a pole and jump on a thing? And how can they be so sparsed out all over the world, ready to go at a moment's notice? Because they don't know where UFOs are crashing. And apparently they're happening all the time, right? That's the word behind the scenes. So never made sense to me, right? But it would make sense that that program is designed to just retrieve all kinds of things, including UFOs, right? It's like a menu at a restaurant. Yeah, we serve a chicken sandwich, but we also got this, and this. The same thing. These programs are designed to retrieve all kinds of different things, including UFOs, right? So I've always been wondering if yeah, the programs exist, but they're not just for UFOs. And again, the bigger question becomes, let's forget all of this. Who get programs, this program, Sean Kirkpatrick's program, that program, foreign retrieval program. Okay. What have we found? Right? What have we found? That's all that matters. Where not that the other things don't matter, but at the end of the day, the UFO is what matters. The actual UFO at the end of the day. Then we can discuss the program, whatever. So whatever. It's still exciting, still very interesting. So it sounds like Kirkpatrick wasn't as dismissive of this, before. Maybe he's not as dismissive of this as we all thought, right? He was setting in place. He may not have believed that there was anything before or that anything had happened or that the government had anything, but he was setting up a process moving forward. If there is something in his mind, we can get it. I can respect that. I can respect that. But again, I also get the sense that they're trying to wash out the term UAP and move further away from that implicating anything non-human. All right. So he says, because they already have people in place that would collect crashes, right? Like we're talking about. Like if we shoot down another Chinese high altitude balloon, it's that team that would go and collect it, right? It's those procedures and processes on how it gets notified and how we go and get it. Space Command records records obtained via FOIA show that Dr. Kirkpatrick had meetings to establish Arrow's version of a UFO-specific crash retrieval program on April 10th with General Glenn D. Van Herk, commander of U.S. Northern Command. Remember that name. General Van Herk, who led the mission to take down the infamous Chinese spy balloon back in February 2023, has also taken a hard stance on domestic UFO cases. He says, if there are unknown objects within... Oh, Jesus. I swear. Did I miss it? Yeah. If there are unknown objects within North America, he said, of the recent wave of baffling drone swarms over U.S. bases, go out and identify them. I'm in. Let's go. Look at this thing. I've showed that before. I've showed that picture before. Okay, let me read this. Whistleblowers with knowledge of a classified UFO reverse engineering program have opted to testify to the Senate Intelligence Committee, in part over their reported mistrust of Dr. Kirkpatrick and his Pentagon UFO office. Above, a page from Project 1794, declassified in 2012. So we're already building UFOs. All right. General Van Herk... I'm seriously going to, I cannot believe Daily Mail here. What? Now it's gone. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. Okay, grab this thing. You know what? Let's try this. I wish there was. I'm telling you, I cannot. I literally. Okay. Wow. What the hell? This thing is just going on its own. Okay. General Van Herk, who also had a leadership role over NORAD, has pled with U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin to authorize more electronic eavesdropping equipment to solve the severe national security mysteries involving the drone UFOs. But the general has also acknowledged that strict rules govern the use of this level of espionage tech over U.S. soil. Yeah, right? Although Dr. Kirkpatrick told Event Horizon's listeners that he found no evidence that the U.S. government has previously recovered an alien spacecraft via its past crash retrieval programs. So he's admitting there that there were past crash retrieval programs. That's interesting. Several of his predecessors have contradicted his claims. So now the needle has moved a little, right? The goalposts have moved. There is crash retrieval programs. We just haven't found anything. Before, it's always been, there's no crash retrieval programs. But now, okay, we do have the program, but we haven't found anything. So then is it going to change? Okay, we did find something, but it was only one, Dr. James Lakatsky, a former Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA analyst and missile expert who managed one UFO-centered program from 2008 to 2012, has claimed that the U.S. not only has recovered alien spacecraft, but that officials have gotten inside one. The United States, as Dr. Lakatsky wrote in a 2023 book, Mother Trucker. Here we go. 2023 book on that program, was in possession of a craft of unknown origin and had successfully gained access to its interior. This craft, as he briefed then U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid in 2011, had no intakes, exhaust, wings, or control surfaces, no engine, fuel tanks, or fuel. Dr. Lakatsky's book, Inside the U.S. Government Covert UFO Program, Initial Revelations, okay, was co-authored with Las Vegas-based investigative reporter George Knapp and biochemist Dr. Colm Kelleher. Dr. Kelleher had worked alongside Dr. Lakatsky from the private contractor side of the DIA's once highly secretive UFO program, the Advanced Weapons System Application Program, or OSAP. When asked by UFO documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell whether or not he himself had entered this recovered UFO, Dr. Lakatsky replied, "I can't answer that." There you go. All right. Thank God. I'm done with that. So I'm going to pull that down because that is just, those ads were annoying. So this is interesting, right? And again, I've got a clip of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick on Event Horizon. So bear with me. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, right? One, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick is admitting that there's past crash retrieval programs, right? Are they just the foreign material programs, right? Those same foreign retrieval programs, which are basically crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs, but more for terrestrial stuff. But I guess if something non-terrestrial came, they would deal with it too, right? It would just fall under their purview, right? He's basically saying they existed. We have recovered stuff, but not alien spacecraft. Clearly, other people are saying something different, right? But either way, at the beginning of 2023, he's deciding to start one of these programs, but with UAP in mind, right? In case there is a crash or in case we do shoot down something. So he's, I'll give it to him there. Curious what everyone thinks about that. But all right, let's get to this clip of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick talking about this, so y'all can hear it directly from him. Oh, okay. Let's bring that up. All right. So basically, again, the podcast is Event Horizon, hosted by John Michael Gaudier. I hope I'm saying that right. And he sat down with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and had an interesting conversation, right? And right here, you can see on the screen, UAP response and recovery and material transfer, right? All right, let's play this.
And I started with Space Command because that's where I came from. And that was a kind of an easy way to get this started to address congressional concerns. So there wasn't an actual thing. It was hey, we need to go have a conversation about how we're going to do this and get the teams started and documenting that. That goes into the J3, which is the Director of Operations, operational procedures and processes.
So you literally created a UFO recovery team, in short, in the event something like that were to happen.
It's any UAP recovery, and it was really more the process and procedure, because they already have people in place that would collect. Like if we shot down another Chinese high altitude balloon, it's that team that would go and collect it, right? It's those procedures and processes on how it gets notified and how we go and get it. And that would be now true for pretty much anything.
Does the government have an Indiana Jones warehouse where they have all of these foreign materials, Russian, Soviet, materials from the Cold War, planes and things like that they recovered, parts of missiles and everything else, that are archived somewhere and still kept secret because it's sensitive, because of foreign relations?
I wish we had a big old warehouse like that, but that would be fun. But we do, the IC and the DoD collects foreign material and they exploit it, just like foreign adversaries collect on us and exploit it. And so some of that stuff is stored in places.
I had to ask a question because obviously it's burning the internet down. So, all right, aliens. I got two more questions for you. And this one's just aliens in general. Is that treated as a national security concern? In other words, say you had found something, wouldn't that be really scary to have an alien civilization presence here of very highly advanced nature, far beyond anything we can do? Does the government say that's a national security threat? In other words, would that have been a high priority? We need to build some missiles or something like that. Or do they just assume they'd have done something by now if they were here?
No, this will be a wholly unsatisfying answer. But when we had this conversation about if we actually found anything, what would the classification be and how would we handle it? Most of that, apart from the part of we're going to get NASA will take lead, but it's also going to be it's got to go up to the president for a decision on is it a national security issue or is it a humanity civilization issue? And so that's, I think, what would actually happen is it would get briefed over, probably in partnership with the department by NASA up to the president for a decision.
Yeah, and I know certain presidents have thought about it, because I believe Ronald Reagan asked Gorbachev if the Soviets would help us if there was an alien threat, and Gorbachev said yes. But again, that's presidential level. Now, my last question, and this is a fun one. In looking into all of these programs and past programs and finding not evidence of aliens, but did you find weird historical stuff that's eventually going to come out about programs that we did that's just really cool? In other words, we really did make this kind of a plane or something like that, and it's just not out there yet. Was there anything that you thought, wow, that's amazing?
Well, obviously, I would have to say I am very impressed and deeply proud of both the DoD and the IC's capabilities that they are developing and building to protect this nation. And I think everybody should take some solace in that. There are some really, really great technologies that are coming. Really great.
I am hoping for fusion energy.
Well,
all right.
Everybody's hoping
yes.
for that.
Everybody's hoping. Well, imagine if you had, I remember Lockheed was developing trying to develop a compact fusion reactor that could be launched into space that was the size of a truck. And I'm like, man, if we had that and we had fusion energy in space, it's Battlestar Galactica,
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
It would be. All right, Dr. Kirkpatrick. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's a fusion energy conference coming up here at the end of next month, I think, we'll talk about the state of the art of the fusion community. I think that would be a fascinating thing to listen to.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Dr. Kirkpatrick, thank you for joining us and giving me so much time. And good luck in your endeavors from now on. And I will continue to watch Arrow under the new director and see what they find.
There we go. So again, John Michael Gaudier's Event Horizon. I'll put a link in the description after this and to the Daily Mail article. If you want to go check out the rest, it's like almost 2-hour interview with him. And there you go. That is quite fascinating, right? His explanation of things. And I think it's important to hear from him, regardless of how you feel about him. Data is data, y'all. Right? Data is data. And really those redacted documents, right? Because let's draw a line in the sand. Let's say from 2023 moving forward. Let's say we ignored everything that happened from 2023. Again, this is just a thought experiment. It sounds like the government, regardless, is preparing for this, right? For some sort of non-human event, right? Regardless. So if they didn't have these things set up before, they are working on doing it now. At the bare minimum, that's a win, right? Now, most people say, well, we can't ignore everything before 2023. I agree. I'm just saying, at a bare minimum, it's something that just your average person would see as, oh, okay, it's a step moving forward, right? It's not like they just ignored it all and didn't do anything about it. I mean, arrows still exist, right? We still clearly have things flying around that we can't identify. That is fact. And we are setting up programs and have set up programs to retrieve foreign materials. And now they want to make sure to be exclusive about the terminology, right? Or specific about the terminology that UAP, right? In the event there's a shoot down or a crash, that we can recover this thing and get it back on American soil. I mean, I find that interesting. Can't wait to read the comments. All right, let me put up this real quick here. Yo, Patrick, try Brave browser. It blocks ads by default. Cheers. Yeah, maybe I should. I honestly was not expecting that with the Daily Mail. Just crazy ads on that thing. They're just driving it nuts. I mean, why did you even do that? You can't even look at the site properly. Honestly, when it's stuff like that, normally I'll just click off. But couldn't in the middle of this live. Like, that was it. I needed to read that. So anyway. All right, look, I have one more clip that I'm going to play, and then we'll get to some comments here. And to be honest, it's quite different. All right, so I don't know if I want to say trigger warning, but I do kind of want to say trigger warning here a little bit, because what we're going to talk about is a darker part of the phenomena. A part of the phenomena that many people don't want to talk about, if it's real or not. But if we're going to assume that there are craft flying around, well, we're going to have to assume that there are pilots flying these, potentially, right? And we're also going to have to assume that these beings, or this civilization, however you want to put it, is interacting with us, humanity. And how are they interacting with us? One of those ways that's theorized is in this way. Let me play it.
The abduction phenomenon. If that really happens, and they are performing experiments with people, some of the suggested activities seem to include breeding humans. They take eggs and sperm from people, and they have give them babies to hold. All sorts of very strange stories. And if that's actually happening, that is disconcerting, and certainly would be terrifying to learn about in 1947, and still might be terrifying depending on what's going on. So, so I think that's a real possibility, that they're hiding something that is more worrisome than just aliens present on Earth, or extraterrestrials, or, I mean, somebody else present on Earth, whoever they are, non-humans. The abduction phenomenon. If that really happens, and they are.
So that is Dr. Kevin Knuth. I believe I'm saying that right. He spoke at the Soul Symposium, Soul Conference last year. Again, it's always left with the preface of if this is happening, and you have other people in the community that are adamant it is happening, right? This is a phenomenon that is real, right? And something that does need to be discussed. I'm probably going to do a deeper dive on this pretty soon, on the abduction only aspect of this, because it's dark, it's terrifying, but it's also something that needs to be faced and talked about. Because if these entities are taking humans against their consent, that's a real problem. So, all right, let's jump into some questions. Wow, beautiful Sunday, y'all. Watch the skies. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing to fear, y'all. All right, Brother Six says, any thoughts on the new Black Vault originals? He name dropped you in a good way, but he really called out Lou. He name dropped me. Okay, very cool. Yeah, John Greenwald's a man. I'm a huge fan of his. I'm assuming it's about this, what are we calling it? The chandelier UFO photo debacle, Romania. Yeah, well, I called out John in my video because he had led me to that, and, you know, going down the rabbit hole, figuring that out about the photo. But yeah, always support anything John is doing. And John, rightfully so, pointed that out, you know, and got everyone to that. And again, independently, the same conclusions that John came to, independently, our Discord server came to the same conclusions without knowing what John had come to, right? So that's something to keep in mind. I think a lot of people who saw that photo immediately or within minutes realized what it was. And once you were told what it was, if you didn't see it, it became very clear that that's what it was, especially with all the other surrounding evidence to prove that it wasn't what Lou Elizondo thought it was. So yes, big supporter of John and what he's doing. Like, remember, John is just trying to get to the truth. Whatever that truth is, doesn't matter. There's no predetermined truth for John. You know, he just wants to get to that truth, whatever that is. And I'm the same way. I think a lot of people are. All right, here's a question from Terrence Wills. Question, what is it that you think they care hiding whether people believe in aliens or not? Thanks, you think. Oh, God, I don't know if I understand that question. What is it that you think they care hiding whether people believe in aliens or not? I'm not sure what that means, but maybe asking, like, what are they hiding, whether or not aliens or not? I mean, advanced tech, national security. There's a lot of other things. That's the problem with UFOs, is in this very tight, secretive, necessary system. And UFOs is like thrown in there. We need national security. We need to protect our borders. We need to protect the American people. I'm speaking for America only here. We need to have a military, complex, right? Maybe not to the extent we have, but we need to protect the American people, right? And we are building advanced tech behind the scenes, right? That's terrestrial. That has nothing to do with non-human stuff. And however you feel about that, right? That's mixed in there, and just it's difficult to know. So yeah, regardless of aliens or not, there's things we need to be doing. And that becomes the problem of trying to figure out, is it that, or is it this non-human stuff? But again, for putting government aside, just thinking about all the private citizens who have experiences and evidence and this, that, and the other, even if the government stuff didn't exist, there would still be this whole phenomena, right? Just publicly with private citizens, which is what always reels me back in, if I'm being honest, is that aspect. Shout out to Gem Girl, gifted 1 vetted membership. So 1 lucky person will be chosen at random. YouTube does it, and you will get a 1-month trial of the vetted membership on YouTube. Very cool. And if you want to, you can keep it going. So thank you, Gem Girl. Much appreciated. Nathan from the Quantum Show. Have you tried personally to reach out and make your own contact with non-humans? I called the number they gave me, but no one picked up. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know how to do that. Right. Nor, if I'm being honest, nor do I want to do something like that. I don't know what I would be getting myself into. I don't know. Do people think it's like praying? Right, like just praying to God, like I'll just talk to God. Is it like, do people think it's like that? Well, I'll just talk to aliens. Let me just, Xenu, tell me, give me something. I don't know. I mean, you have C5, right, which is actively reaching out, close encounters of the 5th kind, right, actively trying to make contact with a non-human intelligence. I'm personally, not that I'm not a fan of it, I personally don't want to do that. I just don't know what that means. What are the implications? What if there is some sort of contact? I'm not prepared for that. Me personally. Lucas says, would you like to be abducted? No. Abducted. That's a leading question. Would I like to be taken against my will and kidnapped? Find someone who would say yes to that. Very strange. Now, would I like to be invited on board a craft? Well, that's maybe, I don't know. That could be interesting if I saw the craft. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. And then you might be thinking, well, you just said you didn't want to make contact. Yeah, but that's like a mental telepath. I don't know what's going on. But if I saw a craft and there's a group of us, I don't know. Maybe I would go. All right, there are your questions, comments. I'll throw them up. I'm only going for 9 more minutes, y'all. So get your questions in. Do you ever contemplate extraterrestrial life tuning in to watch your show? That's interesting. Well, I was told one time by somebody on the show that they're watching me. So if y'all are watching, what up, Jupiter? I don't know where they're at. Yeah, I hope they like and subscribe. But yeah, I mean, to some extent, for sure. Right. And let's go past that. I've wondered, right, like many people, I'm sure, has the signals we've sent out being intercepted by them? And what exactly signals are we sending out that they would get to that? Like that would be their impression of humanity, right? And we send out like movies and television and radio and right, like entertainment. So they might think that entertainment is us, that's real. This is going to sound so corny, but there's a movie with Adam Sandler called Pixels, directed by Chris Columbus. And that's it. That's the premise is wacky, but the idea is that aliens show up, but because they saw video games, they thought that's what they used to interact with humanity was video games, Pac-Man and that kind of stuff. I don't know, right? Qbert and all that stuff. It's like that. As crazy as that is, that could be a real possibility. And I do think about that. What information would ETs be getting from us? Like, because I don't get to approve that, right? Like, what are we sending out that they're getting? And then their impression of us, right? Like the first thing they may see is like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We're screwed. Rhett Carson says, what do you think will be more shocking at the hearing? Underwater, underground bases, or immaculate constellation? That's a great question, Rhett. And thank you for being a member. That's a great question. I mean, both. Honestly, they're both pretty, the hearing could be just about one of those things. So, pardon me. So if they do find a way to bring them both together at this hearing, yeah, I agree. That will be fascinating, to be honest. But to me, the underwater bases, underground, that could have a bigger impact, just because you're saying there are alien bases here at this location right now. There's aliens, non-human, right? Immaculate Constellation is a bigger thing, but it's still exciting. But that is like, that probably would be more shocking, I guess, if I had to choose one. Great question, by the way. Jesse James Bell. United States Air Force 69 to 77 vet crash rescue firefighter and Red Horse / Prime Beef Squad 1 hour deployment with bags packed. Keep up the good work. Crash recovery team is real. Okay. Thank you, Jesse. Not sure what any of that means. Red Horse Prime Beef Squad. I don't know. But okay, yeah. I mean, crash recovery teams are real. To me, the question is, have they been UFO centered? That is for me. That's just kind of funny. We got your call, Patrick, but we couldn't bring ourselves to use such primitive technology as a phone. Okay. Damn it. Jordy Dan, sorry. At least Grush went before Congress, waiting for Lazard to do the same. All right, you can get into serious trouble for perjury. Never mind then. Yeah, I mean, I want a lot of people to testify, right, at these hearings. Again, remember, there's the House hearing, and then I broke, with the help of Ron James. Really, Ron James broke it, if I'm being honest. Ron James broke the story that the Senate is confirmed to have their hearing scheduled, right, for the 19th. Oh my God, I think I've already forgot the date. Yeah, the 19th, because it was 6 days after the 13th. So November 13th in the House with Nancy Mace. Then in the Senate on the 19th, probably with Arrow, right, and their new director, right? So Arrow, the Sean Kirkpatrick thing we just talked about, right? So that the new director, basically the new Sean Kirkpatrick, will be testifying later this month. We'll hear from him, right? Basically a yearly meeting that happens to go over Arrow, right? To make sure they're doing what they're doing, spending the money right. What have you found? What are you looking at? What have you done? Let us know that the money we're giving you, you're using it wisely. Are people happy with them, right? That sort of thing. So I look forward to that too. I do. They're both are data. They're both something, right? But the House one will probably be more, salacious, exciting, sensational. Let's go. Which I'm here for. Which I will be streaming, y'all. I will be streaming both hearings. So make sure and subscribe and join me on that day. Vetters will be jumping on and live streaming both of those hearings, which I'm really looking forward to. The House one, I legitimately am. Tim Gallaudet and who knows what else. There's some other rumors going around on Twitter. I would not believe any of that. Quite literally, the staff from Nancy Mace's office and Kristen Gillibrand's office are stating they're not revealing anything about the witnesses. So anything you're hearing online is not true. Okay. At least not right now. Right. So just be wary of that. I would just wait, take it all with a grain of salt, and just wait till that date to find out who's testifying and what they're testifying about. We quite literally will not know. Daniel says, oh yeah, Daniel. Oh my God. Great reminder, dude. Great reminder. You going to announce the Vet of the Month for October? Yes, I am. I am going to announce that before I leave. So hang on. I got a couple more super chats here, and then I'm going to announce the Vet of the Month. Where, if you're not familiar, every month I announce on a live stream a special member of the community who kind of goes above and beyond for the community. So previously we've had some great people, and yes, I'm going to name someone new. Thank you, Daniel, for reminding me. I meant to do that. Okay, Liben says, Patrick, do you think Biden will tell us the truth about aliens before he leaves office? I mean, I guess there's always possibility. I think what you'd find is more likely he might say more stuff after he's out of office. So that's when they talk a little more freely. So that's a possibility that there could be some interviews after he leaves office and reveals more information about what he knew. That is a possibility. But while he's in office, I don't think so. Jesse James Bell's back again. Last Navy squadron was HC-1 Helos, Navy SEAL out to train torpedo retrieval near Catalan Island, and always heard about the underwater base there. Okay. Do you mean Catalina Island? I'm not sure. Catalan, because you spelled it Catalan, which is interesting. So I'm not sure if you mean Catalina Island. All right, let's get to all right, hey, shout out to Dr. Dan here. Dr. Dan has been on the show twice before, one with my interview with Brandon Fugel, and he came on with Simon Holland and Clint and I to talk about the alien signal and all that. So shout out to Dr. Dan. Thank you for joining, man. He says, Patrick, would you be open to interviewing Sean Kirkpatrick? 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. All right, let's announce the Vet of the Month, y'all, and then I gotta bounce. I gotta go hang out with my nephews. Okay, they're running a card show, and I gotta go support them. Vet of the Month. All right. So again, this is someone who I feel has really just stepped up above and beyond in the community, in our Discord, YouTube, just overall open mics. And honestly, there's so many people I could choose, to be frank. You know what I mean? It's really just a matter of, I got to pick somebody, but there's so many great people in this community. I highly recommend joining the Discord if you haven't already. It's free to join. It's so many great conversations in there with so many people, other content creators, huge content creators that come in there and just hang out, quite literally, in the open mic. You know, that's it. So you can have great conversations, open discussion, respectfully about this topic. Okay, we don't care what people's opinions are, just that you deliver that opinion respectfully. You believe in UFOs, you don't believe in UFOs. You think it's all real, you think it's all bullshit, bring it. We love to talk. So all right, so without further ado, I'm going to announce our Vet of the Month, and he goes by Kostas. I'm probably going to say your last name wrong, Khan, so I'm not even going to try, but we call him Khan. He knows who he is. And I just want to say he brings such an amazing energy to our open mics, chats. He's always sharing links, just, different thoughts about things, different viewpoints. He's from Greece. We have a very global community, and I love that, honestly. If you go on our open mics, we got all kinds of people from all kinds of countries, and I love that. But Khan brings such a youthful energy and just a passion to this. Right. And he's someone that I can be very skeptical. Right. And a lot of times, but he always helps keep me grounded and keeps me balanced. Right. So I enjoy having him in the conversation for that reason. Because even if, let's say we debunk something or we look into something, oh, that's compelling, that's interesting. Right. There's always he always helps bring it around to, let's be open-minded about this. And I love that about him, right? And he's not afraid to stick up for his opinions. He's always very respectful and kind and very funny as well, too. Just brings a great energy. I don't know what else to say, right? Just such a great dude, such a a cornerstone to our open mic discussions, and they wouldn't be the same without him, amongst many people that are in there, to be honest. And I love having him there. And I just want to say to Khan, thank you, man. It's a pleasure to, discuss things with you and have you be a part of the vetted community. So that's what I got to say. So anyway, thank y'all so much. Let me make sure there's nothing I'm missing here. All right, I got to get going. Thank y'all so much for hanging out today. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to go to the Discord. There should be an open mic discussion. I won't be there today, but normally I'm there almost every day hanging out, at least for a little while. So if you want to come talk with me and chat and hang out and, ask me questions or just give your opinion, talk to other people, bring it. So hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. We will see you guys tomorrow. I've got some great stuff coming out this week, y'all. So don't forget, I've got a great conversation with Simon Holland that's going to be happening this week to go over the new revelations of this alien signal, y'all. So that, BLC1, right? All right. See you guys tomorrow. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me